All right, good afternoon. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I'm making an extra video today, Friday, the 8th of September. And some people are still having problems with Git and GitHub. So I'm just going to repeat a lot of the stuff I've already done, but I'm taking it from the top. So I'm assuming you don't even have Git. So you go out to right here. So you go out to git-scm for source code manager.com/downloads, which brings you right here. You can Google it just as well. All right. And then I'm going to click here where it says Windows. And I'm going to choose 64-bit Git for Windows setup. And it's downloading it right there. And hopefully when it gets done, it's going to tell me about it. Ask me what I want to do or whatever. All right, so I started this before, but had some problems with the machine, so there might even be one there already. It's no biggie one way or the other. All right, so let me go to downloads. And there it is. Doesn't matter which one I choose. It's the same file. So I'll just choose this one I just put in right now. I'm double clicking on it. And that'll start the installation process. It comes in and it says, hey, you need admin permission. I already am an admin, so that should be all right. Just come in here and click yes. Now, it's about 12 times. I'm just going to click next. I'm going to accept every default there is. So, 1, 2, it says it already exists. Would you like to install it anyway? Yes, I do. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, maybe I counted wrong. 13, 14, 15. There. So 15. And now it's going through the install, which takes approximately a minute. All right, it's done. I don't need to see release notes. I don't need to launch it yet, but if I do want to make sure that it's there, all right, then what I can do if I want to is go over to control panel and go over in here, and it is not showing, but if I refresh my screen, I should now have Git. There it is, right there. So I've got it. Now, I gave you a file earlier in the semester, and I can provide it again if you want it. And in there, it had a lot of the major Git commands. So if I want to see the version of Git that I'm running, I'm going to run through a lot of these commands for you right now. So let me bring Git up. I right mouse clicked and I choose Git bash here. And that brings it right here. All right. Let's make this a little, make this a little bit bigger. There we go. So if I want to see the version, I can say Git -- version. I believe it was 2.42.0. That's what it is. Now, the next command, you have to only do this once. So if you've done it already, you don't need to. But I'm going to type in git config -- global user.name, then in double quotes, Jeff Scott, just like that. Hit enter. Probably like it shows here, I'll just get my prompt or cursor back again. Then git config -- global user.email. And I would like you to put in your Rankin email. So for mine, it's jpscott@rankin.edu. That is mine. Hit enter again. Boom. Now that's set. All right. Now, this is what I'm going to do before we do anything here. What I'm about to show you, you don't even need Git for exactly, but you may or may not remember at the beginning of the semester, before our semester started, I sent you a URL, all right? And it's out on github.com. So that's there. That's me, GitHub. And I'm going to search in here because I know it had the word students at the end. So there, AWD 1000 Fall 2023 students. So that's the one I want. So if you're a student and you don't have that yet, what you'll want to do is you want to come in here and key in this. And everything I'm doing, I'm going to try to remember to save for you. So that was how to get to GitHub. All right. And then the GitHub repo of mine is right there. All right. And again, as you can see, make it a little bit smaller. There we go. So it's github.com/JPScottRankin, which is my GitHub name, /AWD1000 Fall 2023 students. All right. And it's big. I'm just telling you. So click on the green button here for code and choose download zip. And it will put it in wherever your downloads folder is. And that'll take a good few minutes, I would guess. But if I again go out to my downloads folder, all right, there it is. It's done. And if you look here, there it is. AWD 1000 Fall 2023 students .master. I already had it there, so they put a 1 on the end, .zip. All right. Now I'm going to unzip that by right mouse clicking on it, choosing extract all, and I'm just going to rename it. I'm just going to call it, for now, you can call it whatever you want. You can keep that name. But I'm going to put here just AWD 1000 Fall 2023, and I'm going to click the button that says extract. And again, as you can see, as the green moves along, it's doing the extraction process. So again, that will take a minute or so. Okay. Now, once this gets done, the way you handle it next is up to you. I'm going to discuss quickly 2 different ways for you to handle this. We have not done anything as far as making our own stuff, so to speak, yet. Okay? Almost finished. And it's right here. And you can see, like I said, it's not a small file. It holds 276 meg, 276 million bytes of information. So what I'd recommend you do next, and again, whether you do it like this or not is not up to me. It is up to you as to whether or not what I'm about to show you, you do it that way or you do it another way. Again, totally up to you. All right. But I'm going to come in here right where I am, and I'm going to create 4 folders. All right. Now, My name is Jeff Scott. You know that. But I'm going to pretend I am student Jeff Scott. Okay? I'm pretending I am student Jeff Scott. All right, so I'm going to come in here and right mouse click and choose new folder. And I'm going to make one called Jeff Scott HOTS. That'll hold all my hands-on tests. That one for now I'm going to leave empty. Then I'm going to create another folder. And I'm going to call that Jeff Scott Labs. That'll hold all my lab assignments. Then I'm going to make a third folder. And I'm going to call that Jeff Scott Homework. All right, and I'm going to create one last folder then. And I'm going to call that Jeff Scott Written Tests. So I now have 4 folders. All right. Now, because this is going to get a little bit confusing, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this open twice so you can see exactly what I'm doing. All right, I'm going to come over to here and I'm going to open up my big file that's called AWD right here, Fall 2023. And that's not the right one. This one, AWD 1000, Fall 20, that's still not the right one. Okay, we'll find it. Well, I must have accidentally removed it. So let me unzip this again. And I'm just going to call this Jeff Scott All AWD 1000. And that'll have everything in it. Okay? Sorry about that. I was trying to clean this up a little bit because I just had a lot of junk in there. And I guess when I tried to clean it up, I accidentally removed the file I'd already unzipped to. So when this finishes, I will have 5 folders. 4 of the 5 will be empty. And the last one, the one that just says Jeff Scott All AWD 1100, is the one I'm going to open up in just a moment. All right, it's done. So when I open this, notice what's in here. All right, there's an HTML and there's a JavaScript. Well, we're in the HTML part of the class, so I'm not even going to worry about JavaScript right now. But I'm going to double click to open the HTML CSS folder. All right, and what do you have in there? Well, I have a folder in there called Homework. So I'm going to open my Jeff Scott Homework folder. That's right there, and I'm going to drag that homework right into there. So I'm just going to move it. Okay, so that's now in there. So my first folder is filled up. Now, my next folder that is called Written Tests, I'm going to open that one, and I'm going to drag in Written Tests. All right. Then for the next one, I've got a folder in here called Homework and one called Labs. And the Labs one is empty, I believe. So I'm going to drag in Labs. And I'm not going to worry about the rest of the stuff here. These are the PowerPoints and the student files. Don't worry about that for right now. Okay. All right. So I now have, in here, I now have 4 folders. One called Jeff Scott Labs, and it's got all the labs in here. In fact, I'm going to even change the name of this from labs to, I'm going to make this HTML-CSS-labs. Okay, I'm going to put that in front of all these because I'm going to have labs also when I get to JavaScript, and I don't want this to be confusing. So there's my labs. All right. Now I'm going to open up the one called written tests. And again, I'm going to rename this. So it's going to now be named HTML-CSS-written tests. All right. And then finally, I'm going to go to my homework folder and do the same thing. So now all of the homework for the whole semester, the HTML homework part is in here. All of the homework for the HTML part is in there. All of the labs for the HTML part is in there. All of the written tests for the HTML part are in there. All right. Okay, so now I've got these. Okay, great. But now what I want to do, and hopefully you were able to do this. Again, I can only go so far in here, but if you go out to github.com, yours isn't going to look like this. I have to literally log out, which is a pain in the behind for me, but I'm going to try it anyway. All right, so it looks like this. That's probably what yours will look like. Click sign up. Enter your email. Please use your Rankin email. So I'm going to pretend, even though I don't have that, I'm going to pretend mine is John_Smith at insiderankin.org, because that's pretty symbolic of the way yours is going to look. Again, it won't be John Smith, it'll be your name. Create a password. Now, I can either generate one automatically, and I'll do that. So let's go auto password generator. And we'll make it right there. Okay, and I will make this 12 characters long. And I'll allow everything to be in there. So generate password. It's pretty ugly. I'll show it to you. I'm not going to do anything with this thing anyway. But if I come down to the bottom here, this is the password that got generated. Okay, that's the 12 letters. And that should be strong too. This is all garbagey stuff. So I've done that. So I can close this and this and go back to here. And for my password, I'll paste that in. Then it says continue. Now it says enter a username. What I'd like you to do, if you have not already done this, is if this was John Smith, either say J. Smith Rankin or say John Smith Rankin. Either way, whichever you'd rather. And then click continue. All right, it says username John Smith is not available. Okay, so let me go back to here and let's try J. Smith. I might have used that one when I was going through the example with you guys earlier this semester. I don't remember. So let's try J. Smith. It says that's available, so I'll click continue. And it says, would you like to receive product updates? I don't want them, so I'm going to type it in N for no. All right, now it says, verify your account. Please solve this puzzle so we know you're a real person. All right, use the arrow to rotate the animal to face in the direction of the hand. Looks like that's the same direction, I think. One done. So that worked. And now it says, do you want to create the account? I'm not going to do that because that'll create another account on this machine called J. Smith Rankin. But you want to create the account. You want to do that. All right. So I'm going to stop this one right here. All right. Now, I'm expecting that you just did that and it worked. All right. Now, if you remember from over here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different GitHub repositories that I need to make. So again, I'm you now. So I want to make a new repository. So when I come here, what do I want to do? Well, when I'm back at github.com, yours should look something. Well, we have to sign in. So let me sign in again. All right, yours should look something like this. You'll want to click New. All right. You'll want to, if you're asked for an owner, you may be, you may not be. I am. So right there. Now I want to make all 4 of these repositories. And they have to be the same name and the same everything. So the first one is Jeff Scott Homework. There it is. So I'm going to copy that to the clipboard. And I'm going to paste it in here. And it says that's available. Now, I'm pretending I'm you. So I'm going to make this repository private, which means that if I want to share it with anyone, I have to provide them with an invite. So that'll be my first one right there. And I'm going to click Create Repository. Now that probably created the first one, Jeff Scott Homework, and it's a private repository. Now I want to create another one. So I'm going to go and click this plus sign right here and choose New Repository and do the same process again. JP Scott Rankin. So I now have one that I made. All right, I've created the first one. That was homework. So now let's do written tests. Again, copy that to the clipboard. Paste that into here. Says it's available. Make it private. And click Create Repository. I now have 2 repositories in here. Click the plus sign again and choose New Repository for a 3rd time. Again, if you have to, choose the owner. And this 3rd one will be called Jeff Scott Labs. That's available. Again, I'll make it private. Again, I'll click Create Repository. All right, now I'm going to make one more. Click plus one last time. New repository, JP Scott Rankin owner, and in here, I'm going to put my last folder in, which was Jeff Scott HOTS. And private, and create repository. Now, whenever you do work on your labs, you want to put it in that folder with your name on it, labs. When you do work on your homework, etc. All right? So we've got all that stuff. That's all good. Let's go back quickly and check on here. Where was that? All right. We did this. We did this. Okay? So now I'm going to pretend that I have just created, in fact, we'll do that. I'm going to create the first test. All right? So let me go back in here. And let me go to Jeff Scott HOTS. Right there. And I'm going to create a new folder in there. And I'm going to call it HTML Hot 1. Right there. There's nothing in it right now. I think you'd agree with that. It's empty. I'm going to right mouse click on that, and I'm going to choose, all right, I'm going to choose then open with code. Okay. Now it's opening with Visual Studio Code. All right. And I'm going to add 3 things. That's it. All right. I know, well, we can add all of them. So I'm going to come in here and put in index.html. All right, we'll put in our exclamation point in tab. All right, now I'm going to copy this 4 times. Copy, paste. I want to rename this one. So this will be contact.html. I'm going to come into here, and where it says document, I want to make this one, just so I know which is which. Come on, Jeffrey. Contact. This first one, I'm going to make home, which is what your index really is. All right, then in here, I'm going to paste again, and I'm going to rename this one as course_work, and I'm going to change in here to coursework. I'm going to do it a 4th time, and I'm going to call this portfolio. And I'm going to, in here, change that to portfolio. All right, and finally, one last time. And this one I'm going to call, what was that one? It was resume. Okay, so I'll make this resume as well. All right, now I'll just create it on the first one. I'm not going to style it. I'm not going to do a flipping thing. But I want to show you something, and that is I'm going to put a nav in here, and then I'm going to put a UL. It won't be styled. You've been warned. It won't be styled. All right, oops, LI, and I'm going to copy this 5 times. All right. That'll be home. It will be resume. The order in which you put these really and truly doesn't matter. This will be portfolio. This next one will be coursework. And the last one will be contact. Okay, those are all set up now. All right, what I should have done is now because now I'm gonna just copy this over to the other pages. So copy. Right now I'm in the home page, and I'll put an H1 tag here that just says home page. All right, and let me do a file, save all. All right, now I'm going to move to my contact page. I'm again going to type or key this in or put that in there. So I've got that nav in there too. This is contact. So I'm going to put an H1 in here. Then that's going to say contact page. All right, let's save. Let's go to coursework. You can kind of tell what I'm doing here. All right. Then let's go to portfolio. Oh, I somehow lost my ending nav tag. Here we go. All right. And I'm wondering if I made mistakes here. Yep, I don't have the nav tag here. That's why it's giving me that 1 there to show me that there's 1 error in there. And let me put the nav tag in here too. Okay. Save. All right, and I think the one that was left was resume. And again, now I've lost the nav tag. There we go. All right. So we've got all that in there, and I wanted to put an H1 in here. Oh, I do have an H1. So that's resume page. All right, portfolio page, home page, coursework page, and contact page. Good. That's looking great. All right. So file, we'll just do a save there. So that's all done. Now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to add a folder called CSS. And in that folder, I'm going to add a new file that I'm going to call styles.css. And all I'm going to put in here is kind of what we were supposed to do, and that is body, background, corn silk, color, navy. Okay, so I've got that. Now, I haven't linked that yet, and I better do that if I want it to work. So let me go back to contact here. I can just do them all in order. And I'm going to type in the word link and hit the tab key. And it's css/styles.css, just like that. So I'm going to have to copy that into all of my files. So it's now in contact. It's now in coursework. It's on the home page. It's on the portfolio page. And finally, it's on the resume page. All right, so now I can come in and I can open with Live Server. I haven't styled this, so it's going to be block level. So it's going to look pretty ugly, and that's okay. So there it is. Let me blow up the size so you can see it. So there's what it looks like. Resume page, home page, resume page, portfolio page, coursework page, contact page. And I can go back and forth from any to any one that's in there. And I've got my background color set, and I've got my text color set. All right. So we're going to pretend everything's hunky-dory. All right. So what we're going to pretend right now is that we finished the test. I know we haven't. We're pretending we have. Okay. So I'm going to close this. All right. So I'm going to do a file, and you have to do it there. I'll just click the X. Now I've exited. Okay. I don't need this open either. Okay. Now I want to put it in my hots folder, and there's nothing in the hots folder right now in my hot GitHub repo. So here's my hot. There it is. So what do I do now? I come right here under Jeff Scott Hots in the empty area here, and I right mouse click and choose Git Bash here. All right. And all these commands I'm going to show you, they're all in that file that I've given you. You want to do 4 things. You want to say git init. Right now, there's nothing in here git. If I type in here now git status, I get an error message. There is no GitHub repository associated with this. So I type in git init. And now I get an empty or a folder in there with some system files, .git folder. Now if I type in git status like I did before, okay, it's going to show me some stuff. That stuff that it's showing me, it's red. That means it's in the staging area. It has not been committed yet. To commit it, all right, what do I want to do? Well, I did my git init, all right, and did I do my git add dot? I don't remember if I did that or not. No, I didn't. So we will type in here git add dot. Hit enter. Now if I type in git status, now it shows me this is all the stuff that's now getting ready to be committed. To commit all that, I type in git commit -m, and I'll put in here HTML hot number 1 and hit enter. And it's showing me what it's going to put there. Now, there's one more thing that I have to do. Right now, there is no method of communication open between Git right here and GitHub where it knows this. Okay, so I have to let it know that. This is Jeff Scott Hotz, right? So I go back to GitHub, and there's Jeff Scott Hotz. That's the one we just made. I want to grab that line. You're going to have to grab that line for each one of those 4 repositories and put that line in there before you push anything to them. So this is git remote add origin, and then it's got the path to this. I click copy. I come back into here where I just was, and I paste it in. Right mouse click and choose paste. Hit enter. If I want to make sure it works and it understands it, I can type in git remote -v, and it shows, yep, that's where I want it to go. Now, to actually move this thing or get a copy of it, it's called pushing it, from Git to GitHub, I type in git push -u origin master. You may have to type in here main. I have to type in master. Hit enter. It spins for a second and it thinks about it. All right. Now when I come back to this repository here and I refresh my page, there's my file. There's the HTML hot one. That's how you do this. So you are going to have to do this kind of an operation if you make 4 different folders like I did for each one of your folders. All right. Finally, one last thing. Again, I'm going to pretend for a second I'm not Jeff Scott. I'm just a student. And as a student, I just made 4 repositories. All right. But I'm going to click over here on settings. You must all do this for each one of your repositories. Click settings, go to collaborators, and it'll say you haven't invited any collaborators yet. Add people. You can either put in my email address, jpscott@ranken.edu, and you see it finds it, or you can put in JP Scott Ranken, which is, again, my GitHub name. All right, then you click on here, and you click add. I'm not going to do it because I'm already in there, and it might confuse the system. When you do that, I should get an invite. I should get an invite that says I've now been invited to this repository. I can't think of another way to show this to you. All right? To me, this makes the most sense. I am going to send this, and this video, all right, or a link to it, and again, I'm going to send out that file that has all these commands. Remember, that was the git init, the git add dot, the git commit, the git remote add origin, how you can check it if you accidentally screw it up, how you can reset the origin. And this is a repo you can look at to, if you still have problems sending me an invite. There's where you push it. Here's some more stuff, get cheat sheets, etc. If you want that stuff, feel free to take a look at it. All right. Hopefully that helped. All right, so let me save this. And what I'm going to do then, this video is 40 minutes long. I'm going to save it. I'm going to send a copy out to everyone in the class, even those of you who don't have any problems, because you're all on my email list. So I will send it out to everybody with a little note in it explaining what it is. If you still have problems, I'm going to have to work with you one-on-one. I'll just leave it at that. All right. Good luck. I will talk to you on Monday. Have a nice weekend, please.